Well, a new report has found that a quarter of employers now classify workers in their 50s as old. That's up from 10% in 2023 and 17% in 2021. The findings suggest that workers may be considered old well before their retirement age, which could have an impact, a dramatic one at that, on productivity. Sarah McCann-Bartlett is the CEO of the Australian Human Resources Institute, who produced this joint report, and she joins me now to unpack the results. Sarah, thank you very much for your time.
Hi, Kath. Thank you.
Now, it's ironic I'm doing this interview on the week that I actually turned 50, so I've got a vested interest in finding out what's going on here. What did the report, most broadly speaking, find with respect to perceptions and attitudes towards people above 50?
Well, key to this research is that HR professionals do agree that job performance actually doesn't differ by age. But it did find was that many employers still hold age-based assumptions, and that can hinder productivity in the workplace, especially as you say, employers are viewing workers as older at a younger age. And that means that we're still seeing some mixed behaviours in terms of hiring intentions. So there are some employers who are hesitant to hire workers both under or over a certain age, although the research shows that's improving. But also on the flip side, some employers are proactively working now to employ both older and younger workers to create that multi-generational workforce.
I noticed that one of the key findings is more than 1 in 6 of HR professionals report that they're not open to hiring people aged 65 and over at all. We're an ageing population, and we know that someone who's worked their entire career up till 65 has a huge amount of knowledge and skills with them.
You're absolutely right. Although 60% of employers say they have no upper age restriction at all, and just 5% have a limitation or prefer not to hire over 60, with another 5% over 65. But what we also found was that some employers are saying we'd like to employ older workers, but we have a lack of applications from them, and their salary expectations are quite high. One of the interesting pieces was they also felt that salary expectations from younger workers were also sometimes too high.
And just briefly before we round out, Sarah, I note that the report had some recommendations. What were some of the key ones?
One of the key ones is take any bias out of your job ads. Remember those job ads that used to say would be suitable for someone just starting out in their career? Well, you're certainly not going to get a range of people applying for those jobs, particularly those with great experience. Flexible working practices are great for people throughout their employment life cycle for different reasons, but more and more everybody is looking for flexibility. Training on how to create a workplace and how to manage an intergenerational workforce, so training for managers. And on the employee side, really understand skills-based interviewing. Practice interviewing on Zoom or Teams, because more interviews are being done that way. And make sure when you reply to job ads or you're applying for a job, you actually change your CV and your cover letter to suit each role.
Update those CVs. That's a big one. Thank you very much for your time, Sarah McCann-Bartlett.
That's a pleasure.